Hey there, Danny here. Welcome to my ramblings. Um, I'd like to share with you tonight about how I've how I've dealt with going back and forth between looking over the things that have triggered me in my adult life and why those things triggered me, and I had to trace them all the way back to when they first affected me. So where I got that that preconditioning from. Um, so I've been doing this since January, February of 2020. And I was going through a lot of the stuff pretty quickly, okay, when I had this relationship, and it didn't necessarily have to be a like an intimate relationship. It could have just been friends, family, doesn't matter. So I would look at it and I'd be like, okay, why did this trigger me? And then I would go back and trace it back to when it was I first have a memory of it that it affected me. Once I get there and realize, oh shit, this was something that was said to me when I was younger and I held on to it. At that point, I looked at that childhood memory from the perspective of now, of where I'm at now, and it went away. Over the last 3 years, there has been one big one that it wasn't always on my mind, but I'd get past one thing and I'd be like, oh, all right, I could feel myself. I just felt lighter. I felt happier. I felt more at peace. And all I thought was, okay. And then this one would pop up in between working on other ones. And I'm like, where does this come from? Why does this bother me? So the story that I'm going to share with you is going to explain so I can go all the way back to show you how I got to finally dealing with this one. So, my second ex-husband's mother had at one point at the end of our marriage, he had her on speakerphone and they were talking, and I had overheard her say that I am lazy, and my children, if they know any work ethic, it would be from her son, not from me. Why this made me mad, I don't know, because I usually don't get mad if I don't value the person who's saying something. I don't value their opinion either. So if I don't care for that person, or I don't get along with them, or I don't have anything to do with them, if they give me an opinion, usually I blow it off and don't even care because I don't value them. So I couldn't figure out why this one. It kept popping up. Over the whole 3 years in between, it would pop up. It was driving me nuts. Could not get down to where this came from, where it first started. There would be other points I'd look at throughout my adult life and my teen years and stuff, and the one thing, lazy, something about lazy bothered me, and I didn't know why. I initially thought, well, because I know I'm not lazy, but that shouldn't affect me based off of somebody that I don't value's opinion. So it left me perplexed. So I can say that last night I was laying in bed, watching a show called Girlfriends, and they were talking to somebody said something to Lynn about her being lazy. I think it was Maya, whatever. And all of a sudden, it was like a light bulb. It was like that exact moment my brain knew exactly where lazy came from. And now I initially was like, yes, it's here. I figured it out finally. And then I realized what that memory was. And I thought, oh my God, I forgot all about that. I was like, oh my God. I shouldn't have been happy where it came from. So when I was a smaller child, when my dad and my mom broke up, my mother went out drinking all the time. And whatever. It's what she did. So she drank every weekend. Um, and she used to, during the week, because she didn't work a lot of the times. Majority of the time she was on welfare or something else. Or working part-time, but she really didn't work. She really didn't work full-time jobs all the time. So during the day, during the week, she'd be home. So we grew up in an extremely clean house. Let's just say her bathrooms were cleaned every single day. Sink, shower, tub, toilet, everything. Cleaned. Top to bottom, the bathroom was every day. And we had a bathroom and a half. Both of them were cleaned every day. I know, because when I became a teenager, I was the one that had to do that. But anyways, I digress there. She used to tell me that I was lazy. You're lazy, and you'll never amount to anything. Now, this memory popping in my head is a statement that my mother said to me out of anger several times as a small child. I should not have been excited. I should not have been excited. I should have went into this, oh my God, I can't believe my mother said this to me. But the truth was, it wasn't about who said it or why it was said or anything else. It literally was me seeing where it initially came from and why I held on to it. And when I looked at it from my age now and where I'm at and what I know, she was an angry, hurt woman who never chased after her true, authentic self. Hurt people hurt other people. It wasn't a personal thing against me. I didn't know that as a kid. There's no way I could have known that. But it's a memory that I totally have never, I don't think I've ever even thought of that. In any of the years that I've discussed things with my mom. Sorry, I need a drink. Allergies are horrible here lately. Anyways, with all of the years of arguing and fighting with my mother and trying to establish an adult relationship with her, those words never rang through my head, ever. I didn't even know that I was holding on to it. I just knew that if I was called lazy, I would get very mad. And I'm thinking, why would I be mad? Why would I be hurt by this? I don't even care for this person. I don't value her, so I can't value her opinion. Why is this bothering me? And this one particular story that I just shared with you is the story that sat in my head the whole time. Every time it would pop back up, it was that particular story. And I'm like, why that particular story? She was a mom. That's all it was. It was my second ex-husband's mom. Who was the one that said it to me? My mom. But I didn't remember that. But when I discovered, this one's been a struggle for me for 3 damn years. And I really, I can go long periods of not thinking about it, but then it would just pop up and I'd be like, why? Now I know. Now I don't have to think about it anymore. And once you get to that point where you don't have to think about that that preconditioning or whatever you were told and you held on to, you don't have to deal with being triggered by it ever again. It has no power over you, and you took your power back from it. And the more you start to take your power back from the things that you're getting rid of, that you took on yourself as a child or even as an adult, and you didn't realize that you took it on. But once you start realizing you take these things on and you start getting rid of them, you find that you're way more at peace. You feel lighter. You're way happier. And when somebody brings anything up about whatever you got over, you don't have that feeling. You don't think of that thought, that story that keeps popping in your head every time somebody says something like calling me lazy. Why would that cause me to be triggered? Didn't understand. Now that I understand, I'm not going to be triggered by it anymore. You can call me lazy, and I'm just going to be like, okay, I don't value your opinion. If I don't value you as a person because I don't know you well enough to, then I can't value your opinion. That's just how it works. It doesn't make any other sense to me other than that way. So I am now finding that there's less and less things that trigger me. I don't have the road rage like I used to have. I don't get angry over trivial things that I never quite understood why I got angry over or upset or hurt over. But the truth was I just didn't heal the past. The original one is usually the one that affects you the most. It's not anybody who says it after that. They just trigger that feeling that you felt from that initial person who did it to you. Whether that be a relative, a significant other, a friend, it doesn't matter. Whoever started that wound, anybody else says anything, it's going to trip you back to how you felt during that wound. So if you get rid of that wound, you're not triggered anymore. So somebody says something, you're not going to care. It's really, really that simple. And I guess I kind of knew this years ago. I just never really put it into place and actually did something about it. But now that I am, I can say that the last 3 years have been very, very difficult. Reviewing your whole life and then tracing these back and discovering where that original hurt came from and why it came from there. And you can look at it from being an adult and now with all the knowledge that you have. It just floors me that I didn't do this sooner. So if you'd like to learn more as we go along, feel free to put something down in the comments and we can talk about other stuff. I think the next video, I would like to potentially discuss closure and heartbreak. I have some different takes on those. I don't expect that everybody's going to understand what I'm talking about, but the ones who do are going to be the ones that are going to get benefit from this. So I want to say that if you really want to get to happiness and peace, you really have to dig through all that lifelong crap. And going through it, I'll tell you, there was quite a bit of period where I had kept to myself. I really didn't want, I talked to my mother and stuff, but I really didn't want to socialize. I didn't want to be around people. I don't want to say I was depressed because I really wasn't depressed. I was constantly in deep thought about why this was an issue. And I'd start to figure a little bit of it out and a little bit more out and a little bit more out. And then I'd get rid of it because I'd trace it all the way back and I'd be able to get rid of it. And then I'd move on to something else. A lot of that stuff is personal. It's just you. And you can have other people around. I mean, I did hang out with people here and there, but not that often. But I think the reason that I went alone on doing this was because I didn't want other people's feedback. If I was going to uncover all this rubble and debris that was on top of my true authentic self, I had to go at this alone because I didn't want anybody else's words or thoughts to come into my head and sway me from getting to where I need to get. And I'm still not there, I don't think. I don't know if I ever will be, but we're going to go on this journey and find out. If your life is a little upside down and whatever else, feel free come and join us. I will gladly, if you leave messages or whatever, I'll gladly discuss certain topics that you want. There's a lot more to this. It's been an up and down roller coaster over the 3 years. And on top of doing everything that I'm teaching you here, or that I'm trying to share with you here, I don't want to teach you. I want you to take what works for you and use it. So, I have had five deaths in my family in the 3 years that I have started this journey. I have lost everything when I started on this journey, and I got myself my own place. I got all my own stuff. I sold all that stuff. I bought an RV. Now I'm traveling around. I mean, when I look back over the last 3 years, I'm like, how the hell did I get through that? I don't know. I was kind of like a zombie. When I was out working and whatever else, I was social and I was polite and I had a smile on my face. But I think that's why I just go home and not want to have to deal with anybody. But I can tell you, it's been a hell of a roller coaster. And while it was going on, I kept telling myself, oh, no, I can't handle anymore. And more would come, and I'd handle it. And I know that a lot of people who know me personally and over my whole adult life, I've heard it from all kinds of family members and friends, that they think that I'm a strong person. Well, I never understood that, because I didn't view myself as a strong person. I had all these things, like lazy bothered me. I'm like, come on, how can I be a strong person if the word lazy can cause that much of a trigger in me? But after going through the last 3 years and up until now, I can tell you, I've never had more self-confidence. I've never had, I've never had so much respect for myself. So much admiration for myself. Holy shit, girl, you made it through all that, and look where you're sitting today. Look at how you smile, and you enjoy chatting with people, and you're alive again. I am strong. It just took me a while to realize that I was. So, come on, let's journey together on this and figure it all out. See you guys later. Thanks.